Editing. Search YouTube. Edit box. G. A. A deleted. R. And. B. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Line Q. And your video will play after this ad. Sponsored. Double tap to activate. Notification available. Tap. Action. Save. YouTube. Activity. And. Check. YouTube. Double tap. HEAVY 16 plus private button. Double tap to activate. Next line next. YouTube. Double tap. Action. Save. YouTube. Check. Editing. Search. N. Deleted. O. N. E. Off. Space.
Yeah, I feel like I got
Monster.
cucumber breath now. People be like, what you been
Navigate
doing?
up.
Sucking on
Button.
cucumbers
Out
all
of
day?
list.
I'm like, no, bitch. Cucumber lime. Hold on. No, bitch. Cucumber lime. Gatorade.
Trying out the new monster. Action next. Trying out the new monster.
Hey, what's up? It's Who the F is JC, your unofficial junk food connoisseur.
Monster
back
Rehab
again
Green Tea
with
Review.
another
2 minutes.
snacky-related video. Now, all summer long,
Enter-
I've been taste testing a bunch of different flavors of pops.
Mon-
We've done a bunch of different Mountain Dews, different flavors of Coke.
Monster Energy
But
Green-
this video
up
is
Monster
dedicated
Rehab
to all
Green Tea
you
Reco-
people who watch the videos
TTX
who
reviews.
don't drink
Monster
Hello
Rehab
again,
Green.
Jason
Yup.
from ScreamingEnergy.com,
Change.
which I might as well begin calling
Monster Rehab.
MonsterRehabReviews.com at the rate they're releasing these things. And
Playing story.
Hey, follower and Browser,
Like-
this is your friend James,
Video like.
Monster Rehab.
More.
Green tea, it is non-carbonated. So
Check.
160 milligrams worth of caffeine. Drink the nurse from
Clear. Button. Search. Editing. Search YouTube. Edit box. Showing English US QWERTY. Keyboard. Let Dracula. Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Double tap. Isaac tells Hector to let Dracula. Trevor and
No. What?
Isaac
No.
tells.
But that... I've been working towards this for weeks.
Of course you have.
Clear. Button.
You feel guilty.
Editing. Search YouTube.
You want
Edit box.
redemption.
Showing English US
I
QWERTY.
want to mend my mistakes.
The mistakes you have
Space.
suffered
X.
for.
Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Keyboard hidden. Clear. Button.
That said,
Editing.
Hector,
Search YouTube.
you
Edit
had
box.
no agency
Showing English
in
US
those
QWERTY.
events.
N.
You were manipulated. You were used as a tool for
S.
leverage by those who are
Na-
truly
Navigate
responsible
up.
for the
Button.
end
Out of list.
of Dracula.
Keyboard. Clear. Button.
You believe that?
Double. Editing. Search YouTube. Edit
I've had
box.
a lot of
Showing
time to
English
put
US
it all
QWERTY.
together and
R.
think it all over. Do you know, I've even been talking to other people.
Actual living people.
Well, mostly.
Navigate up. Button. Out of list. Keyboard hidden.
You've
Clear.
changed.
Button. Double tap to
I
activate.
hope so. I believe you have as well.
Sega Genesis.
Everyone will be mad at me, but I'll tell you the truth anyway. Have you ever noticed these sketchy money-making apps keep you hanging on just short of cashing out? I mean, you play and play, but reaching the payout threshold seems nearly impossible. Or suddenly there's a fee or purchase needed to access your winnings. I mean, it's super frustrating, right? Well, I know an app that doesn't do that. It's called Just Play. The difference, it has no cash out minimums ever. Whether it's $1 or $20, you can send it straight to your PayPal. And yes, while you'll see some ads, that's how they're able to sustain without asking you for money. It's real, it's straightforward, and probably the only fair money-making app. So all you'll need to do is download the app, install the games you like, and start playing them. It's that simple. So don't
Don't piss. Nefarious. Lost in the Woods 2 minutes, 12 seconds. Go to channel. That. Boys and Gatorade Q. The best.
If you have been watching my channel for the last few months, you likely have seen my Best of the Best series. That's where I take a console and show you what I think are its very best games based on genre and technical traits. I did one for the Sega CD first, and then moved on to the Dreamcast. What you might find interesting is that it was actually the Sega Genesis that was supposed to be the subject of the very first edition of Best of the Best. But I had such a hard time choosing the games, I had to actually rewrite it a dozen times before I was happy with it. That caused it to get delayed by months, but it's finally here in all its 16-bit glory. Before we begin, I want to throw down the guidelines of how I decided to do things. First, all the games considered needed to be retail releases during the life of the console. I appreciate indie games, but I wanted to keep things fair by not including titles that come on much larger cartridges or developed with today's software tools. I also simplified a few genres to keep things within a certain time limit. The RPG category includes many subgenres as well, such as turn-based strategy and adventure games. I also separated the platformer and action genres into two sections. Platformer could be used to describe 3/4 of the Genesis library when you get right down to it, so I used an action section to filter out titles that put a heavy emphasis on its combat mechanics as well. Outside of that, this episode is pretty straightforward. You'll get one runner-up and one winner, resulting in what amounts to the best the Genesis has to offer. That of course doesn't mean there aren't other really good games for it, it just means I consider these to be the absolute cream of the crop. To say this episode was difficult to make is a massive understatement, and you'll no doubt feel different than I do on a great many of these choices. Remember, it's all for entertainment purposes, and I hope you enjoy the show. Our first category is the often overlooked puzzle genre. This is an area that has more games than you may have guessed, and many of them are actually really well made. To kick things off, our runner-up is Columns 3, the sequel to Sega's own in-house Falling Block Puzzler. What makes this one so nice is the fact it supports as many as 5 players thanks to the multi-tap, and elevates the Columns experience to one heck of a party title. It doesn't do anything special visually, but puzzle games rarely do. What matters here is fun factor, and Columns 3 has that and then some. But when we are talking about the very best, I have to go with The Lost Vikings. This is what seems like at first a simple action platformer, but it's very much a puzzle title. Each Viking has a set of skills, and you'll need each one to figure out how to negotiate the area. The fun really kicks in when things aren't so obvious, and it takes a fair bit of trial and error to figure it out. It supports 3-player co-op, has more than 40 levels of play, and has a pretty good soundtrack. It blends action and your powers of deduction and ends up being something special for it. It's a port of the Super Nintendo edition, but includes 5 exclusive stages not present in that release. One of the areas the Genesis really excelled in was the sports category, and here there are countless options to consider. Football, basketball,